Picture this. You're sitting in your house after a long, exhausting day. The kids are loud, the TV is blaring, your phone keeps buzzing. You feel like your brain is split in 10 different directions. Finally, everyone goes to bed. The house grows still. You sit down, and in that silence, you feel it. That moment when the noise is gone and you can finally breathe. You can finally hear your own heartbeat. And maybe, just maybe, that's when God speaks. Not in the noise, but in the whisper. Elijah knew this exact moment. After the incredible showdown on Mount Carmel, you'd think he'd be on top of the world. But he was burned out, discouraged, and hiding in a cave. God told him to stand on the mountain. A wind so strong it shattered rocks passed by. But the text says God was not in the wind. Then an earthquake shook the very ground he stood on, but God was not in the earthquake. Then a raging fire, but God was not in the fire. And then, a still, small voice, a whisper. The original Hebrew calls it a thin silence. It was almost nothing, yet it was everything. And that was where Elijah recognized God. It's a fascinating question, isn't it? The rabbis ask, why would God whisper when he could thunder? They suggest the storm and the fire show spectacle, but the whisper shows relationship. A whisper means you must draw near. You must quiet yourself. You can't hear a whisper from across the room. You have to lean in close. The nations in the ancient world thought their gods were loud, chained to lightning and thunder. But God was teaching Elijah and us that true power isn't always in the spectacle. It's found in the intimacy. Think about it. On Mount Carmel, Baal's prophets shouted for hours. They danced wildly. They even cut themselves hoping their God would hear them. But Elijah prayed a simple, quiet prayer, and God answered with fire from heaven. And then, in the cave, God showed something even deeper. He doesn't just answer despite the noise. He chooses to reveal his heart in the silence. The true God is not manipulated by our volume. He is heard by those who lean in. So what does this mean for us today, in a world that's louder than ever? First, the whisper requires stillness. We live in a world addicted to noise, our phones, our TVs, our endless to-do lists. God's whisper will not compete with that chaos. If you feel like you never hear from him, maybe it's not that he isn't speaking. Maybe it's that the volume of life is drowning him out. To hear the whisper, we have to be intentional about creating silence. Second, the whisper requires closeness. You can hear someone shout from across the street, but you can only hear a whisper when you're face to face. God whispers because he desires intimacy. He wants you near. He's not a distant deity shouting commands from the heavens. He's a loving father who wants to walk beside you, to share his heart with you. The whisper is an invitation to draw closer. And third, the whisper often speaks loudest into our suffering. When the storms of life are raging, when you're facing a crisis, it's natural to beg God to thunder, to shake the heavens and fix everything right now. But so often, he whispers instead. He might not immediately remove the storm, but he whispers, "I am with you." In the midst of the pain, he reminds you that you are not alone, and that is a promise that can carry you through anything. The whisper also speaks to our identity. The world shouts at you constantly, telling you you're not enough, that you've failed, that you're forgotten. Social media is built on the loudest, angriest, most shocking voices. But through all that noise, God whispers a different reality over you. You are mine. You are loved. I am not finished with you yet. Think about your daily life. At work, the storm of criticism and pressure is constant, but the whisper says, "I see your integrity. Keep walking in faithfulness." In a marriage, when pride shouts, "I am right," the whisper says, "Choose humility. Love first." In moments of anxiety, when fear screams that you're doomed, the whisper of God says, "Peace, be still, I am with you." So here's the framework we can take away from this. The whisper reminds us that God is not absent. He is near. The whisper invites us into intimacy because you can only hear it when you draw close. And the whisper redefines us, not by the shouting voices of culture or fear, but by God's unchanging covenant love. The real question for each of us is, are we quiet enough to hear it? Are we creating space for the whisper? So I want to challenge you this week. Just try it. Take 5 minutes a day, no phone, no music, no distractions. Just find a quiet place and sit in the stillness. You can even just ask, God, what do you want to say to me? It might feel awkward at first. Your mind might race. That's okay. The goal isn't to have a dramatic, fiery vision. The goal is simply to create the space. Elijah went into that cave completely defeated, ready to quit. He came out with a whisper in his soul. And that whisper was enough to renew his purpose and carry him forward. You see, you don't always need the fire. You don't always need the thunder. Sometimes, all you need is the whisper. And remember, the God who whispers is the same God who holds the storm, the earthquake, and the mountains in the palm of his hand. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go find some quiet this week. You might be surprised by what you hear.